Okay, so after Metaverse, we're going to shift our focus towards Taiwan. 好，接下来我们已经聊完 Metaverse， 我们要把焦点转到台湾。在这个区块链的浪潮之下，台湾怎么样可以发挥关键优势？或在这个全球的区块链浪潮下获得一席之地呢？接下来我们会有来自美国、亚洲还有台湾的观点。So next panel, we're going to talk about Taiwan's role and opportunities in the global blockchain community. So our moderator is Akio Tanaka. He's co-founder of Headline VC. And we also have Evan Spitma, CEO of YGG Southeast Asia. Also, Gordon Oh, CEO of CryptoGo. And Chris Wang, founder and CEO of Thundercore. We also have Arthur Kwan. He is founder and managing partner of Evernew Capital. Oh, you changed your shirt. He's joining us from LA. Hi, Arthur.
Hey, everyone.
Thanks for joining us. Yeah, we know you were just named one of the most influential figures in Taiwan's blockchain industry. So pleasure to have you here. Okay,
it's great
Akio.
to be here, guys.
Okay, Akio, the floor is yours.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the last session. I don't know if my microphone. Hello? Can you hear us? Not well? Oh, okay, it's on now. Hi, this is Akio Tanaka from Headline, and as well as our crypto token-only fund called IVC, Infinity Ventures Crypto. Nice to have everyone sticking around till the last session of the day. And just before we start, I just wanted to do a quick check on who's actually here. And so those people who think if you identify yourself as investors, please raise hands. I'm included, okay. And if you're crypto investors, please keep holding your hands. Okay, you and I are two minorities here, along with Arthur. So we have 3 crypto investors in the audience. And then I'm just trying to figure out who the rest of the audience are. So are you like Chris, who just said he just recently found out he's been running a Web2 business without knowing he was running a Web2 business? Who do you identify as a Web2 people? All right, thank you. And then who represents like Taiwan's not internet sector, but more technology or more traditional industry sector? Who's here representing traditional values of Taiwan? Okay, and then the rest of you, I'm not sure why you're here, but still welcome. And then let us introduce our last session. Really, we are talking about blockchain and Taiwan, and is there any opportunity for us? And it's actually very interesting because this is a panel that's partly people who have Taiwan roots, but then partly people like Evan and me who come from elsewhere. And then we found, hey, Taiwan is actually a good place to do blockchain business. So we like to dig into this theme, but first let me actually introduce our audience members, not audience, our panelist members, and maybe starting with Evan. Do you want to do a quick intro?
Sure. So my name's Evan. I'm the co-founder and CEO of YGGC, which is a gaming guild. So essentially what we do is buy NFT assets and then rent them out to players, and they make money, and then we take a small portion of them. I've been in the gaming industry for about 15 years, 20 years in Asia. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Evan. Then maybe we go to CryptoGo.
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm Gordon, the founder and CEO of CryptoGo. CryptoGo is the crypto asset management platform. We help, the crypto asset management platform helps to build a trusted layer between sell side and buy side. So for example, for the buy side, you can download our wallet from Google Play and App Store, and you will have the multi-chain wallet just by connecting with your phone number. So we now support 6 protocols and more than 20,000 tokens and NFTs. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Gordon. Then next up is Chris from Thundercore.
Yeah, my name is Chris Wang. I'm CEO of Thundercore. And we are building a fast public EVM compatible blockchain with low gas fee. You could think of us building Ethereum 2.0, but it's already available now for everyone to use. And we already have a lot of users on our blockchain. Our blockchain has about as many users as Solana. And we're also, besides the standard Web3 features, we also are building an API for the Web2 company. So like you could actually issue an NFT or launch your token without any blockchain engineers.
And Chris from Outsong is actually using your chain.
Yeah, I'm very happy that Outsong actually issue most of the NFT on our public blockchain.
Great. And then last but not least, Arthur from Avenue.
Hey everyone, it's Arthur. Avenue Capital is a venture capital fund focused on Web3, DeFi, NFT platforms. It was originally spun out of our family office, Perseverance Capital, which does fund-of-fund investments in the crypto space. But Avenue is specifically focused on token investments.
Thank you, Arthur. And actually, full disclosure, many of this panel on this panel are either portfolio or investors. So you're talking to a group of very incestuous people. But hopefully, because of that, we can be all frank and give you what we really think, not just the politically correct talk here. So one of the topic here we are talking about is there a blockchain opportunity in Taiwan? And we had a pre-discussion in Telegram group, just like any correct crypto people, and we actually had some different opinions. And I think Gordon, you offered interesting opinion that we have opportunities, but talent is an issue. Maybe you could talk about that, because some people in this panel, namely Chris and I, totally disagree with you, but I want to hear your perspective first.
Okay, in my perspective, I graduated from National Taiwan University studying computer science in 2011. So my perspective is, everyone say Taiwan has many talent, and everyone likes Taiwan's talent pool. Yeah, there are many engineers produced every year, but from Taiwan University, Tsinghua University, and Jiao Tong University, they produce up to 2,000 engineers each year, and half of them not go to software company.
They go to a certain company in Hsinchu area.
Yeah, yes, and even the half of another 50% go abroad. So only less than 25% go to the software company. So there are much less than 10% go to the blockchain or Web3 company. That's my perspective. And also, I think the biggest problem is there are no software or web industry in Taiwan. So the talent pool is very swallow compared to China.
Okay. Thank you, Gordon. Now, then we have someone like Chris, who is actually a Silicon Valley entrepreneur. And actually, I've met his company way back when he was running Playdom, which was one of the major players in social gaming space. But now, he's in Taiwan. And I just wanted to know your perspective about Taiwan's talent pool.
I think Taiwan has actually really great engineering talent. So as Akio mentioned, I actually built a company in Silicon Valley before. It's called Playdom. It was one of the largest social gaming company. But at that time, when we need to hire engineers, it's actually very expensive. It's actually hard to find good talent in Silicon Valley. And so this time, I actually raised funding in Silicon Valley, but hire the team in Taiwan. And I found it much, much easier to find good technical talent in Taiwan.
Thank you, Chris. And then we have, company like, well, this is our portfolio, so I should be careful how I frame it, but we have YGG Southeast Asia, right? And you think, okay, it should be headquartered in Singapore. But actually, it's the core people here in Taiwan, led by Evan. So why are you actually doing Southeast Asia in Taiwan? Is there a merit?
You are the seed investor, so
we make a mistake.
we place our co-founders throughout Southeast Asia, but IVC was a seed investor along with YGG. And we found that the talent pool here was definitely sufficient to build out our back end necessary to provide our NFTs to our scholars throughout Southeast Asia. So we very much enjoy being here in Taipei.
And you yourself arrived in Taiwan how many years ago?
3 years, yeah.
And you staying?
I'm staying. He's good.
Thank you for your vote of confidence. Now, Arthur, now let's talk about investors. From investors' point of view, how do you guys view blockchain industry and talents here in Taiwan? Is there a business to be had here?
I think, I also take on a position that Taiwan has a lot of great talents, specifically in the developer space. And, the numbers may not be a lot from an absolute standpoint, but I see opportunities in that. And I think across different portfolio companies of ours, whenever a portfolio company is looking to hire devs, Taiwan always actually comes to mind versus kind of Eastern European devs, Southeast Asian devs. The consistent feedback that we've gotten is that Taiwanese devs just have, more creativity, medium costs, relatively speaking, but they have great integrity and loyalty. And those are things that are very hard to come by across the whole global supply chain of devs, right? So I do think that offers a very unique perspective in the global blockchain opportunity for Taiwan.
Thank you, Arthur. So I also want to add some perspective because I'm also, just like Arthur, investing in this space, also including Taiwan, and I'm not from here. And I think what I'm going to say is actually I'm not going to diss Japan, but it might sound like it. So if you have any friends in Japan, please don't tell them that I was saying this in this conference. So here's my honest assessment. We see startups in Japan, not just in blockchain, but in any internet space, but especially in blockchain space. We have also, pool of engineers, but we have very, very domestically focused group of engineers. They're not very strong in English. And the founders are also not very strong in presenting themselves to the international audience. So many of the crypto projects in Japan today is still very domestically focused. But when I moved in Taiwan and looked at blockchain projects, I found out the fact that we are actually having this conference in English in Taiwan is actually, maybe for you guys it's normal, but this doesn't happen in Japan because if we had actually blockchain conference in Japan, we do all in Japanese because none of the panelists and startups are fluent in English. Now, does that matter? And maybe in traditional space, not as much. Like if you're doing food delivery business in Taiwan, maybe you don't need to speak English. But crypto, by its own design and the current market, how the market developed, is very, very international and global. So if the Taiwanese founders like Gordon didn't speak English, he'll have no chance. But I think Taiwan has this very internationally minded founders and blockchain people that actually puts Taiwan on the map, right? I mean, Ethereum Foundation, I think I've heard some rumors that it's trying to put one of the regional headquarters here, and there's other people like ourselves actually finding opportunity here. So actually, there's actually very, very unique opportunity right now in Taiwan. And there are some other interesting things that happened in the last couple of years that your certain neighbor to the north decided this whole crypto thing was illegal. So they kicked out a lot of projects out there. And I've actually seen some of those as investors or even the founders leaning towards Taiwan or at least tapping into Taiwan base. So I think so in the normal internet space, there's no way I think Taiwan can beat Tencent. It's pretty tough to beat. But in the crypto space, that's more, I think, is still developing, and there's no mega players. Maybe on the exchange side, yes, but not on the DeFi and GameFi space from China. So I think there's a great opportunity right now, Taiwan, to take the leadership in Asia and go after that market. And we are definitely seeing the signs in the market and started investing in that space. So I'm actually very optimistic. But then one of the things actually I wanted to talk about in this panel is I think GameFi is one of the field that has put us on the map as an investor because we backed YGG, but also we found out there is a lot of, I think, opportunities in GameFi in Taiwan to build a business from here globally. And everyone's doing that. And Lutex, which is also our portfolio, which spoke right before this session, and they were actually building NFT exchange for GameFi. So there's actually a lot of businesses to be being built here. And I actually want to hear some of our investors and panelists, other game-related panelists' opinion on their assessment of GameFi opportunity in Taiwan. So of course, I'm going to start this with Evan, because you are right in the center of it.
Okay. So I guess I'll start by saying I've been in the gaming industry for 15 years, so I've seen this massive change from retail to mobile and social and different business models throughout the way, including freemium. And I will say that there's been a tremendous shift in the market to a play-to-earn methodology. It's a different way of thinking about games where your time spent on a game should be rewarded in pure cash. And our scholars, our players throughout the region, they're making anywhere between 500 to 750 US dollars just simply by playing games every day. And so from a Taiwan perspective or an employer perspective, what we're seeing now is large companies coming to us and saying, our employees take an hour-long lunch break, they play games. Then they go home and they play games. So why not allow them to earn money by doing this? And so we are in places like, we're in discussions now in Myanmar, Indonesia, Philippines, all across Southeast Asia. These employers are coming to us and saying, we've got 20,000 employees, let's sign them up to your program. And let's double their salaries, essentially. I don't want to worry about a bonus at the end of the year. Let's give it to them now. So let's do a partnership. And when they're at lunch, they're playing games, they're earning money. When they're in transit going home, they're earning money. And they're having fun while doing it. And we found that model, once you implement it, it's so difficult to break away and go back to a traditional model of playing a game for fun, but then you're also paying money to actually enjoy that game instead of getting paid. And that's only available in Web3 with true ownership.
Okay, so I'm going to first of all apologize to our friends in Hive. I think we are supposed to just focus on Taiwan, but I think everyone just opened up a Pandora's box. And actually, we had an interesting debate right before this session in a speaker's lounge, and I think Chris and Evan, who both of them are actually veterans of the gaming industry, has slightly different perspective on whether Web 2 and Web 3 games, who's going to win out, is one going to kill other, and I think Chris has a more evolutionary, I think, perspective on this space. So maybe Chris, you can share with us what you were actually saying earlier in the speakers lounge.
Sure. Yeah. So my belief is that Web 3 will not replace Web 2. I believe that Web 2 company will integrate Web 3 features such as token, NFT into their application, and this will be the future. And the main reason is that there are actually advantages from both technology. In the Web 2 space, a lot of times it's just much faster and cheaper. In the Web 3 space, it's a very good way to handle assets, to handle NFT, to handle ownership. So I believe the economic side or the asset side, the NFT stuff, will be in the Web 3. And a lot of Web 2 companies will integrate this feature into the application. It's not that Web 3 will replace Web 2, but that they will coexist.
And Evan, you had actually a little bit more straight opinion that ultimately Web3 gaming company is going to have Web2 gaming company for lunch.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, right now, Web 2.0 companies are essentially in a chokehold. The VCs are all investing in crypto. Last year, there was $27 billion invested in crypto. Largely, most of that investment went to Web3 projects. So the Web 2 are no longer getting those funds. So they're essentially getting choked out of the market. And then essentially once blockchain, and everything does take time, usually these jumps from 1.0 to 2.0 to 3.0, they typically take about 10 years, right? So essentially 2.0 is being choked out. And from an investor side, and then the developers are under pressure to implement these ownership properties within their games and tokenize a lot of it. And they don't want to do this because they're so accustomed to owning everything. If you think about traditional video games, it all started in an arcade where someone owned the entire machine. You had to go to the physical arcade. You had to pay every time you played. And then once you actually, as a player, had the equipment in your pocket or at your home, then all of a sudden you started to get a little bit of that power, but you still had to pay for it. And now with Web3, the developer is there only to set the parameters of the game, the economy. The players are the ones driving it. They're the ones earning money from it. And the developer also earns money from it. So if you take, for example, Axie Infinity. So the Axie Infinity is a game similar to Pokemon, where Pokemons are fighting each other. Most of the people will use Axie Infinity as an example of the play-to-earn type of game in the space. They currently, I think last year they made about 1.3 or 1.4 billion dollars doing this. Now, if you take, for example, and that's with 3 million customers, that's 1% of the global marketplace for games. That's coming from one developer, small developer in Vietnam that made this for the Southeast Asia market. And it's about 1.4 billion they make, 1% of over global revenue, but that's 3 million customers, but 127 million customers are in Candy Crush. And they make about $0.1 billion less. So that's in the freemium model. So once you implement this ownership capability, the developer actually makes more money with fewer players. And that's going to catch on more and more as blockchain advances.
Yeah, thank you, Evan. So I want to actually bring a question also to Arthur from an investor's point of view. Is Web3 gaming is going to kill Web2? But I also wanted to share some of my perspective. I actually tend to agree with Chris that I don't think Web3 is going to actually completely kill Web2 and other games because, you know, I still play like old console games, even though that's no longer in favor. And then you know, people are still going to be playing traditional online games and Web2 and mobile games. But having said that, if someone asks me, so Akio, what kind of game companies have you invested in the last year? We only invest in blockchain gaming companies. So that's our reality. And Arthur, as also a fellow investor, how do you see this debate here?
Sure. I would say that, first of all, you know, I would say, again, I'm with Chris on Web 2 versus Web 3. I personally think it's a spectrum. And I think it really depends on what your users want. And really, you know, I really don't see it as a big debate. Ultimately, I think a lot of it would be abstracted away from a user standpoint. You may have centralized components, you may have NFTs, but in our opinion, in my view, it's all going to be, you know, based on the user experience, right? The Web 2 games never had access to NFTs in the past. Some Web 3 games are, you know, taking on a very crypto native approach. That's never going to scale to the masses. So I do think a hybrid approach, in my view, will be what really emerge, even now and then also into the future.
Thank you, Arthur. I think you have a career fit for a politician. That's a very nice neutral answer, summarizing everyone here. Now, I know we have about a few minutes left, and I wanted to actually make sure everybody took home something that's useful from this panel. So I came up with actually my own question. So we have, 4 panelists who's right now in the middle of all the latest stuff that's going in the world. And I actually wanted to ask my panelists, if they were giving advice to their own children, their sons and daughters, what to study in school. Now, of course, I'm not assuming that their kids will, if you have kids, they will listen to them actually, but still, as a parent, knowing what you know about this industry, what do your children to study? And what do you recommend? So maybe starting from Chris.
I would probably ask my children to study computer science. I just think that in the future, everything is going to be using technology, everything is going to be on the internet, and it's going to be essential skill in life.
All right. What about Gordon?
Yeah,
you have kids?
Yeah, I have two kids.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think there are three key points. The first one is they need to be passionate. Yeah. Be passionate so that they can learn new things. And the second one is always be open-minded and learning how to learn. And the third one is I agree with I agree with Chris. I think our kids should learn about computer science because it's the human interface in the future. We need to know how to communicate with the machine, just like we learn English for now.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. What about you, Arthur?
Really, any subject that interests them, but I would say Web3 created this very interesting mechanism with tokens, and it basically redesigned incentives and how we incentivize people and participants in this ecosystem. But it comes at a cost, and that cost is really trust. So problem solving, trust, anything that teaches you how to communicate with others and build relationships with people.
That's a very different answer from the last two. And Evan.
I'd definitely say, study what you're passionate about in general. But with my sons right now, what I'm really enjoying is teaching them about some of these play-to-earn games, specifically crypto unicorns. We discussed this in the back. My son's learning about staking, compound interest, all of that kind of stuff.
Very advanced.
Yeah, and he's 9 years old, but he's really enjoying it. And actually, this new generation, they see true value in NFTs, right? It's part of their lives already. So the fact that they're growing up with this sense of ownership over these NFTs, and the fact that he's now paid his 3 years of tuition at TAS just by playing this game, he's really happy about it. And I would encourage everyone to find that passion in their life and make money while doing it.
Great, thank you, Evan. I think with that, actually, we are right on time, and I would like to wrap up this session with those useful answers for hopefully some of our audience members here. But please give a big round of applause to our offline panelists here and online panelist, Arthur. Thank you very much, guys. And thank you for Hive for inviting us here. It was fun.
Okay, great. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
guys. Thank you all. Thank you, Arthur.